Hello YouTube. So today I wanted to go over this BE-13 exemption form from the Bureau of Economic Analysis. So this is a form that's required basically anytime a non-resident of the U.S. either forms an entity in the USA or acquires an entity. It's very, very often missed. It's one of these where I think a lot of people just focus on kind of like the IRS, the federal tax requirements, so the annual returns, the special types of forms that you've got to attach to the annual tax return. But this is something that just frequently gets overlooked. The BEA does have an annual survey every not annual, it's every 5 years, where they kind of send out these notices to companies that they think are foreign owned and get them to complete this very similar information and submit it to them. But they do mandate the filing of this form anytime a U.S. entity is formed by or acquired by a foreign individual or a foreign corporation. The form has got to be submitted within 45 days of the acquisition or the formation. But in most cases, you can get away with just filing this BE-13 exemption form. They have these other forms down here. So in this Who Must Report section, they list out kind of the other forms that might be required depending upon the size of the acquisition. So the 13A, B, C, D, all various types of forms that had different requirements. But for the most part, if you've got an entity that was set up and it's under this $3 million reporting threshold, you just need the exemption form. So $3 million is the total cost to either acquire the entity or to launch it. So a simple example, if you've got a UK tax resident that sets up a Delaware corporation, the filing fee for that is $90, registered agent fee is $50. Maybe you paid a lawyer a couple $100 to get it launched and put a few $100s in a bank account. So all in, just to get this thing off the ground, it's only a few $1,000s. So obviously you're well below that $3 million threshold, so the BE-13 exemption form would work for you. So the form, it's only a couple pages. Again, it's pretty straightforward. It's just you need to make sure you get it filed. So the top here is just the name and mailing address of the entity. So you would enter the U.S. entity's information here. So the name of the entity, mailing address. Scroll down here to section 1 where you fill out what's appropriate here to claim the exemption. So in this example, I'm selecting item 6 here, the total actual or expected costs of the acquisition, establishment, or expansion is $3 million or less, right? So that's what we're going with here. We set up a U.S. entity, but the cost to get it launched was well under this $3 million reporting threshold. And so it asks us here if your answer to question 1 is either E or F. In this case, it is F. Complete the next sections, right? So the transaction that occurred here is we launched a U.S. affiliate. If you did acquire a separate entity, it might be one of these other items here, right? So you could have acquisition of a U.S. business enterprise for item number 3. But in this case, our example is, we just launched our own entity from scratch. So the next page, financial information. Again, like if you're under that $3 million threshold, you're not going to have much to enter here. And again, if it's within 45 days that you got to file this thing, you probably don't have much operating activity either, right? So total sales, gross operating revenues, it's okay to just put 0. I mean, if you really haven't started business today, you just got this thing launched, then you're not going to have any activity. In some cases, you might, and if you do, you should, fully disclose what the sales or operating revenues are for that period. Number of employees, 0. Let's see. So questions 8, 9, and 10. More information on the type of entity and then who the ultimate beneficial owners are. That's really what they're after here. They've got some examples down here for you. What they're trying to trace is, what kind of foreign direct investment is being made into the U.S. So they want to know, okay, who ultimately owns this thing and where are they located? And then the very last section is just contact information for the person filing this report. So this is either the owner of the company or perhaps one of the C-suite executives, so the CEO or CFO could complete this on behalf of the entity. this simple name, street address, should enter telephone, fax, and email address information as well, and then you should be fine. And then it's signed at the bottom. As far as methods to submit this, it can be filed online electronically. You can go directly to the BEA website and enter all this information and submit it. Or you can, as noted up here, you can fax it or you can mail it. If you fax it or mail it, they don't generally provide a confirmation receipt unless you specifically request it. So you would have to, in the cover letter, indicate that you're filing this BE-13 exemption form and you want them to send back some sort of confirmation that you filed it through one of those methods, either a fax or a mail. And I think that covers it. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below the video. Happy to help in any way I can. Please, hit that subscribe button to my channel, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks. Bye.